Hey, it's Figure Hunter here with week 2 of Whoop versus the Open. So CrossFit announced that Whoop is the official wearable of CrossFit. So over the last 2 weeks and the upcoming week, we are testing the Whoop for accuracy on the optical heart rate sensor. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please continue subscribing for more. And please listen to this video because it is super important. So as always, everything on Fit Gear Hunter, the channel, and the fitgearhunter.com, we test and track devices for the purpose of CrossFit and high intensity interval training to see which devices out there actually give you good output, good information, good useful metrics, things that you can evaluate and continue to update your training program. So let's look at Whoop. And what did we see in the first week? Say it back with me. If you wear a Whoop device, don't wear it on the wrist. Obviously, the accuracy when tested across 6 workouts, including 21.1 plus the multiple of other workouts, the optical heart rate tracking on the wrist is a bust. It came in at 46% accurate compared to a chest strap. That means it is missing more than it is getting right. That means it is missing 54%, the majority of your upper echelon heart rate levels and the intensity and the strain and all the things that go into the Whoop metrics. So this week, we tested it on the forearm to be able to track to see if the forearm is more accurate or less accurate. And then next week, starting today, going into a week, we're going to track it on the bicep. One thing I want to say as well in considering this sort of concept of is the Whoop device accurate for tracking CrossFit workouts? Because obviously we know it cannot connect to a chest strap, it cannot connect to an external heart rate monitor, so you're solely dependent on the heart rate monitor on the Whoop device itself. Something super interesting, Whoop did an ad for CrossFit this week. They tracked Christian Harris, who is super duper fit across his 21.2 workout. And as we all know, if you did it super fast at an elite level, you're doing it in 10, 11 minutes. Obviously, some people got sub 9 for the first time ever. So they tracked Christian Harris. He did it in about 11 minutes. And on the ad itself, it showed his average heart rate for the workout at 117 beats per minute. He's 20-something. His max heart rate is probably 180-something. So for them to show on the screen of their ad that the level of average heart rate for that workout when just tracking 21.2, 11 minutes of intense intensity was an average heart rate of 117 shows embarrassingly that the Whoop device is not fit when worn on the wrist. So I'm going to say it again for a third time. If you own a Whoop device and you want to track your workouts accurately for CrossFit or high intensity interval training, for the actual metrics, for your recovery score needs, for the strain needs throughout the day, do not wear it on the wrist or you will get absolutely faulty numbers. So again, this last week, tracked it on the forearm. It bugged the living snot out of me to have it on the forearm. It felt like after you'd given blood and you're wearing that sort of wrap that they give you after you give blood or whatever, and you just feel like it's sort of bugging you all day. That's how it felt. But I just sort of kept it there because I didn't want to mess around, fidget with adjusting the strap. And I had to go with the bicep band because it would, the regular band wasn't quite long enough to stay on the forearm without it being super tight. So we tracked it on the open 21.2 and 5 other workouts to give the statistics for how it performed against a chest strap. So let's look at the results in a second. This next week, we're going to track it on the bicep, the final test, and we're going to look at them all together in a collective review. Right now, we're just tracking the optical heart rate accuracy. So this next week, we're going to track it again, 21.3 and 21.4. As we now know, we're doing a collection of different movements. We'll see how it holds up when it's on the bicep for tracking the accuracy. So let's dive in to the results when tracking it on the forearm. Okay, so obviously we're doing a series of workouts. They all include multiple different movements, including 21.2. So one workout, you can see at the bottom the average heart rate 147. The max heart rate's not important, but I always like to share it. And then you can see the actual workout 150, so better accuracy there. You can see the heart rate training zones, the actual picture of the graph here, and then compare it to the picture of the graph there. You can see it even just more detailed comparison there. So it is totally tracking the flow of the workout when worn on the forearm. We're going to look at the analytics of how it tracked in the zone 4 and 5, the 80 to 100% of maximum heart rate, and the zone 5, the 90% in the final assessment. So second workout, average heart rate 102, average heart rate 165. So it missed the mark there. Picture of the graph here, picture of the graph there. So it totally missed the beginning part of the workout. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is 21.2. So intense workout for the whole period of time, missed the whole first part. So again, you're missing a huge chunk of the beginning of the intensity of the workout, therefore not getting accurate workout intensity scores. Workout here, average heart rate 113 versus the actual average heart rate 117. Picture of the graph. It does look like it's picking up the lifting portions as well as the Metcon portion at the end, because this is a total class, versus the actual on the H10 heart rate monitor. 131 average versus 136 average. So again, a little bit closer. Picture of the graph versus picture of the graph. It looks like it's capturing the flow, so we're getting closer to accuracy. Now we need to evaluate how it did in tracking those peak zones of heart rate to give it a final score. Again, 139, 144, so not far off. Not the best that we've ever tested, but not far off. Picture of the graph, picture. So it's similar, but not quite peaking. So let's look at the averages when it comes into the actual zone. So again, on the left is the comparison of the average heart rate on the Whoop versus the average heart rate on the chest strap. And we're taking out the bottom 100 beats per minute. So we're calculating the percentage of accuracy based on any heart rate tracking at 100 or above. Zone 5, the peak, 90 to 100% of maximum heart rate. How did it perform? You got one orange, which is decent. It's a score of a B, and one green, score of an A, and a lot of red. So it's missing that peak zone. Again, that's the whole point of tracking things for CrossFit. Zone 4 and 5, a lot of green there. So that definitely is good. At least it's capturing the higher heart rate zones. It's just not capturing the peak heart rate zones. So if you take those averages, again, we're getting better colors here. So the zone 5 is still an F, 65%, but the other tracking aspects are in the B zone or the orange zone. And the final score when tracking it on the forearm is a 75.5. So better accuracy, but we are still missing 25% of the most intense parts of the workout. So let's come back together. Okay, so what do we see? 75% accurate, so a little bit better accuracy. Let's compare this to some of the other devices when just looking at the optical heart rate on the wrist. So Garmin's average accuracy for me in doing CrossFit was about an 80%. The Apple Watch 6 came in at like 96%. It doesn't track the metrics for training. It's not a useful training device. It's not a sports watch. It doesn't, even with third-party apps, it's not functional, but the accuracy when worn on the wrist for a CrossFit workout was 96%. The accuracy of the Garmin watches was 80% on the wrist for tracking CrossFit. The accuracy of a Polar watch was 67% accuracy on the wrist. So this on the forearm is tracking at 75%. So that's definitely better, but still not as good as you would actually hope for it to be. We can see on the chart there's more greens. There was like 5 green, averages. There's 6 orange, and then there's less red dots. So we're seeing that the accuracy is better when tracked again somewhere else other than the wrist. Please don't wear it on your wrist if you're going to use the Whoop for CrossFit tracking. So in this next week, we're going to look at the Open 21.3 and 21.4 plus 5 other workouts to track and test the device for accuracy when worn on the bicep. And that'll be sort of the final review. And if it doesn't perform well on the bicep, then you've really got to look at other devices and not use this as the official wearable of CrossFit. So with that, it's the Fit Gear Hunter. Thanks so much for watching.